Hi everyone, welcome to what we're going to call episode, I think, 6.5, where I'm going to read all the mementos we have to date and any remaining codices that are just hanging out. This one shouldn't be too long. It's totally skippable if you are only invested in, like, the actual gameplay and story and less invested in, like, the lore of the Dragon Age universe. I don't know how long it's going to be. That's what we've got. Alright, so what we have from codices, we have a letter from Ireland to Belara. Belara, it was good to see you. Felt a little bit like old times, you know? Just going out there and doing the work instead of worrying about everything else that's happening right now. I know things are a little weird, and I know that some of this isn't really my business to say, even when we were together, but I'm going to say it. You have to stop beating yourself up over what happened with Syrian. I know you think that you're the person who can fix anything, but you can't. No one can. You're a friend, Belara, and I still care about you, so give yourself a break. Irilyn. A meditation on grief. They say grief is a knife, sharp, painful, immediate. But grief isn't a knife. It's a stone, choked down and kept down. It erodes. Time makes it smaller, lesser. You forget about it. It passes into memory. Where you used to feel its pain, now you feel nothing. But sometimes it turns. A note, a flower, a smell. The smoothly worn edges retreat, twist away. What comes now is as sharp and jagged as ever. It cuts anew. It's worn anew. Then it all happens again, and unlike a stone, there is always another jagged edge. Every warden's journey. There's the joining and the calling, the beginning and the end. Every gray warden gets the first. They drink the potion of the archdemon blood, laced with more magic than they know. If they survive, they'll sense the darkspawn, hear the blight's song. The blight itself won't hurt so much. They'll be forever changed. I was forever changed. Not everyone survives the joining. They end at the beginning. Others end in battle. They're killed by darkspawn, or maybe some other monster kills them. We go to sunless and forsaken places. We fight what would devour Thedas, and we don't always return. I've survived all those battles myself. It makes me no better than anyone else. Finally, there's the calling. And that is the end, no matter how far you've come. After the joining, the blight won't hurt so much, but it's still inside you, and in the end, it still wins out. The blight's song, the one you can only hear because you're a warden, starts to change. It starts to call you. At first you can ignore it, then one day you can't, because you're changing. At first you can't see it, but then you can. In the veins in your arms, the circles under your eyes. So you leave. You find the biggest batch of darkspawn you can, and you take down as many as you can before the blight takes you. You leave the world a little safer. The other wardens will tell you that you'll know when the time comes, that you'll be certain when it's real. But they haven't heard the calling yet, and you wonder if it's really true, if you'll really know. You will. I do. I've got my spot in the deep roads picked out. Take care of yourself. A page torn from Warden Aaron's journal, left for Warden Theo. Harding's notes. Thoughts on stone sense. I can more reliably use my new abilities now, thanks to Rook's encouragement. Oddly enough, it's easier to handle certain kinds of rock. Some just don't seem to respond to me. Is it a Titan thing? Maybe some stone was closer or part of a Titan? Maybe I just need to get better. I don't know. It must be stone sense, just extra. I can now do the things that people with stone sense can do. If I concentrate hard, I can tell if there's a cavern close by, or water, or a lyrium vein. I can tell different types of rock apart. They sound different, but I'm listening with something other than my ears. That makes no sense written down, but it feels true. Encouragement from Harding's ma. Dearest Lace, remember when Sir Russ bucked and threw you and you landed face first on that pitchfork? There were so many tears those first weeks from not recognizing yourself in the mirror. But that was mostly the swelling, and in the end, the scar didn't ruin anything. You learned to accept it as part of you. Of course, the Titan's gift changes you. Every day adds something new. Sometimes it's little, sometimes it's big, and so often it's painful. But it doesn't lessen us. Change is different, but all growth is. And a thing that stops growing, well, it's dead, isn't it? I do worry, of course, about what it all means. But I've always worried a little about your adventures. Whatever comes, I know you are strong enough to bear it. Love, Ma. Harding's notes. Cal Sharok. I've been thinking about Cal Sharok. Aside from Orzammar, it's the only other great Tig we know about. It was supposedly destroyed in the first blight. The Tig was in the Darkspawn's path, and the dwarves sealed it off and retreated to Orzammar. They abandoned their own people. And then, about 20 years ago, we learned that the city survived and continues to hold a terrible and justified grudge against Orzammar. Cal Sharok has secrets. Many, many secrets. How they survived the Blight is one, and I hope a greater understanding of the Titans is another. Charter knows people who can put me in touch. I hope they're okay talking to me. It doesn't matter if they don't know much more than I do. If they accept the Titans, and are curious about them, it'll be a huge improvement over Orzammar. Harding's notes. Orzammar and the Titans. Getting a strong feeling that Orzammar doesn't want to acknowledge the Titans' existence. You'd think the capital of Dwarven civilization would be interested in the history of our people, but nope. Almost 10 years since Shaper Volta connected with her Titan, and they don't care. I know they know. I delivered the Inquisition report to the Assembly myself. Technically, I delivered it to an Assembly aide because I'm a servicer, and I don't get to be anywhere near the Assembly Hall. Sure wasn't fun learning that. Records that exist outside of Orzammar mention Great Sleeping Titans and the First Ancestors. Maybe Orzammar's leaders removed all references to the Titans from their memories on purpose. Maybe they buried our report on Volta for the same reason. Are they afraid of something? Maybe accepting that we all came from the Titans makes it harder for them to defend the caste system and their treatment of the casteless. Ugh. And mementos. Oh, we don't have very many, actually. I thought we had a lot more than we did. The Dragon's Decoy. An overly complicated container that radiates magic. A single attempt to scry within reveals extensive, but time-consumingly contradictory rebellion plans. It ends up in Venatori hands surprisingly and usefully often. Pall of the Unknown Magister. A sealed pall crafted to contain a specific powerful Venatori Magister. The Shadow Dragons haven't revealed, or perhaps decided on, the Magister, and so they are all afraid instead of one. So all are afraid instead of one. The Nature of Immortality. Of nature, of a verse of old Arlathan in textile. We saw no ends to fear for us, and songs would sing instead of birth. An unknown start more strange than death because... Amaza Cafe, the coffee killer. This pomace brandy is swirled in a still warm cup and sipped on the move, following the Antivan custom of a dimitas in the dining room, murder in the den. Many-limbed statue. Some say the statue depicts Razakale, others a demon. Still others see no connection to known religions or the Fade. All agree it gives them a sense of unease. And there are so many that we can have, but we have actually very few. Alright, let me make sure that it clears all of our things. It doesn't look like it wants to clear them, but that's okay. I open them up, click on them again. Alright. Well, thanks for watching this little short one. I'll be back at you with the next one soon. Alright, have a good one. Bye-bye.